And hello YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of The Zone TV Movie Entertainment with me, your host Jonathan, once again bringing you my thoughts and review for Netflix's Cobra Kai Season 3. That's right, Season 3. Okay, so if you haven't seen Season 3, some spoilers here, but I'm going to try not to spoil as much as I can. But I'm going to say right off the bat, you have to watch Season 3, because Season 4 is going to come up, I would assume sometime maybe this summer. Maybe, in the spring. Who knows? But, yeah, Season 3 is crazy good. Okay, so we all know in Season 2, Miguel and Rodney, they got into their fight because of Tori and Samantha, and the school fight happened, and everybody was going out with each other. Cobra Kai was going after Miyagi's school. Miyagi's school wanted to go after Cobra Kai, and it just became hectic, where the point where the whole school started fighting with each other. Teachers didn't know what to do. At one point, teachers were getting beaten up, But yeah, Miguel ended up in the hospital, and the doctors say that he may be paralyzed, and that just pretty much shattered Johnny's world. Like, literally, he feels like this is his fault. He feels like if he didn't bring back Cobra Kai in the first place, maybe none of this would have happened. But including the methods that he taught Miguel, how to, the whole mercy thing. It just became a bad situation for everybody. And of course, Samantha felt the same way in a different way, where she just felt kind of traumatized, because you do see in certain episodes of her, she stops doing the whole karate. She does not want to do it. But then when situations happen, there's this one episode where, like, her friends are getting bullied again by Cobra Kai. They're trying to just move on, try and ignore them. The school has ordered them to all stop if they come back. Some of them got suspended. Tori got kicked out of the school, and she's got to stay home and help her work and help her mother and brother, because her mother is very sick. And while that's all happening, you have Johnny's former teacher. He's just trying to recruit more soldiers into his thing. And we also got a couple of flashbacks of his days in the military, which I thought that was actually pretty cool. I always wanted to know his backstory, why how he was, because in the Karate Kid films, when he was teaching Johnny about the whole no mercy thing, where did he get that from? He was in Vietnam fighting a war. He had a girl. He was basically the same. He was kind of like Miguel was, a loser. Nobody liked him. He had a little, he worked at a diner. He was that nerd and nobody cared. All the football jocks, especially in the 50s and maybe even the early 60s. I don't remember what year the Vietnam War started. Around that time period, the jocks were everything. They had the girls, they had the cheerleaders, the prettiest girls in school, and Johnny's teacher, he was basically like Miguel. He was a loser. Nobody liked him. He did what he had to do. And then one time, one of the girls that he actually liked, and you see this in the flashbacks, gets into a scrap with her boyfriend, and then he ends up coming to her defense. And then he wins, of course, but he knows how to fight. He's scrappy, kind of. And then he goes off into the military, and then we see him in Vietnam doing his thing. Then he gets a special note saying that, we're gonna go into a special task force. He meets his commanding officer, and how he kind of reminds me of what Johnny Teacher is in the modern day. Very tough, very rugged, very arrogant, and we get to see that played out really well. While that's all happening, you have Danny. He's trying to balance what he can do. His company's falling apart. His whole car dealership thing's going under. Not selling enough cars. He's trying to, teach the kids how to do the Miyagi way. That ain't helping. He shuts that down for a little bit, and he ends up going to Tokyo, where Mr. Miyagi used to live. He goes to that place. He finds it very, very different from what he remembers as a kid. And it was actually kind of cool seeing reminiscence of Karate Kid Part 2. We got to see the girl that he was kind of in love with in the second movie. She was in there. She's doing her thing, and then we even got to see the little girl that he supposedly saved as a kid from that huge hurricane that happened in the beach. We got to see her. That was kind of cool. And of course, the old kid that he had beef with in the second movie too, who wanted to kill the girl that he was in love with at the time. And yeah, that all that stuff really was fun. I first of all, seeing the whole remnants of season of not season two, uh, movie two. First of all, I haven't seen Karate Kid or one and two for a long time, so it was good to see that. It was actually really cool to see that. Then we see Johnny try to help Miguel once he gets out of his coma to walk again. It eventually happens, and I won't say how it happens, but he motivates him how to to get back on his feet and to work work on his legs and try to help him walk again. He has to get surgery, so that can be a little hint right there. Then of course they all get the news that because of the whole incident at the high school, they can't compete in the next tournament, the Valley tournament. So they all get pretty much upset. The council like, whoa, we don't want the ensue violence anymore. Everybody starts turning against each other. Even the Lorenzos are like, we're like the town favorite people because they sold the good cars, they had a good advertisement. But ever since the whole high school thing kind of fell apart for them, you have Sam who can't even help her friends anymore. They all go to the amusement park, and then their friends get jumped by Hawk and the other Cobra Kai, including Tori. They all start to pick on them. And there's just one point where they're all fighting. Great fight scene, by the way. And Samantha's frozen. She can't do anything. She's scared. She's traumatized. The fact that Tori literally almost killed her, and she doesn't know what to do. Her friend gets his arm broken, which is like yikes. And it was by Hawk who broke her friend's arm, who used to be his best friend when they were both nerds and nobody even knew who they were. Now Hawk is this big badass guy who thinks he's tougher than everybody. He might be even better than Miguel at this point, but Miguel's trying to get back on his feet and try to get stronger. So that's all happening. Danny, like I said before, Danny's trying to fix his company, but he doesn't know anything because he's still stuck in Tokyo. So he's over there doing his thing, trying to save his family business, and everything's falling apart. The Cobra Kais are coming to town, and then Johnny, once he gets Miguel, back on his feet, he ends up making a new dojo to bring in a new, I guess, team, essentially, so that way he can help take down Cobra Kai. This whole storyline kind of feels like Civil War in a way. You have Team Tony and you have Team Cat, right? So in one corner you have Team Cobra Kai, then you have Danny's team, which is the Miyagi school. You have that, so that's the Civil War right there. But then if you add a third team, which he calls himself the Hawk Fangs, Falcon Fang, something with like an eagle and a fang. I forgot what he calls it, but he tries to build that. A lot of kids from Cobra Kai get kicked out of the so-called group because they weren't tough enough and they can't stomach what the new methods that they're learning. Tori, of course, stays. Hawk stays. And a whole bunch of other kids that were there who are like the main sidekick guys, they stay. And then a lot of kids that, they got recruited from the second season who were bullied themselves, they end up jumping ship because they realize like this is going too far. They're hurting their friend from school and it's just getting ugly. And they literally really, messed up. And then of course the end of season 2, not really near the ending, but mostly Cobra Kai goes to Sam's house and just starts fighting her and her friends. She gets her confidence to fight again, but it's like, okay, this is getting to the point where you might as well call the cops. That's how crazy this season has become. Yeah, sure, it's very ridiculous because in real life that actually happens. You can call the cops on this whole karate gang and they'll all get arrested. The teacher will get arrested for letting this happen with the kids. The kids will get juvenile records, Oh, and by the way, Johnny's son, he's in jail at this point because he had to turn himself in for what happened to um, Miguel. Obviously, he went to jail for a little bit. He got a light sentence, even though he did run. Danny got him a light sentence, so he was in. I would assume he was in jail for maybe a couple of months. I'm not too sure. They don't. I don't think they. I don't remember if they ever explained how long he was actually in jail for. But he eventually does time, and he does eventually get out. So that was interesting, and of course he finds out that Miguel's walking again, which probably in his head is like, okay, that's good. I'm glad you're okay. But he's hooking up with Sam again, so it goes. Then he ends up joining Cobra Kai just to stick it to both Danny and his own father, which is like, okay, there's basically a big, huge middle finger to both of them. And yeah, it's getting really bad now. And then of course when they got the tournament back on, now they're getting ready to fight in the tournament. So hopefully season 4 shows us them all fighting in that tournament. Who knows what's gonna win? Will Cobra Kai win again and be unstoppable and do what they want to the whole town? Would the Miyagi school finally get rid of Cobra Kai once and for all? Or will Johnny's new Fang team that he has come up and rise up and say, hey, listen, you can learn these violent methods of karate to kids, but in a good, safe way where they know discipline and honor and have it be presented in a good way. So all we have to do is wait to season 4, but yeah. And of course, Danny got into a fight with Johnny's old teacher. That was kind of cool. He got pissed off at the fact that his kids went into his house. I mean, yeah, somebody breaks into my house, I'm going to go find the guy who did that. Yeah. I'm calling the cops. I don't know why Danny didn't do that, but the cops apparently are useless in this world. So, go figure. No, seriously, I think the cops are completely useless because Sam's mom tried that, and then because she went into, when she found out the whole, she went out with her friends and then it got jumped by Cobra Kai. She went to the dojo where the master was at to tell him, hey, listen, I'm calling the cops on you. You're teaching these kids how to be violent. So she slaps him, and then she goes to the cops, and then he ends up telling the cops, oh no, he's got a restraining order against you for slapping him and going to his property. So the cops are pretty much useless at this point. So now Danny has to get this team ready for this tournament. I would assume that the 4th season will be about that. Hopefully, I think there's going to be another character from one of the movies that's going to be a part of this, but for the next season. But who's going to end up helping Johnny's old master, because apparently he had a friend in Vietnam who he saved his life when they were all captured, because they did show that they were captured and they had to fight to the death apparently in a bridge with a snake pit. So that was actually kind of cool. His commanding officer, I would assume, died because the master fought him and he won, but he was hanging on the ledge by one arm, and then it was snakes there. So and he said no mercy to him. It's basically becoming who he is now that we know. And I would assume he fell in, but it kind of just went back to normal. So I would assume he did, but if he didn't, he called in somebody for a favor. Somebody owed him a favor anyway for saving his life. So we're going to see that person. I think he was in Cobra... sorry, not Cobra Kai. I think the character was in one of the Karate Kids. I don't remember which one. I have to go back and watch those movies again. But it should be interesting seeing what's going to happen, how this is going to affect the next season. But I'm excited to see it. Season 3 to me was a lot of fun. So yeah, sure. It showed that Cobra Kai have completely changed. In the beginning of the first season, you want to root for Cobra Kai because Cobra Kai was the bullies in the original movies. But then when you're watching the first season, you see Johnny trying to change it, but then it got away from him, and then it completely transformed into this hideous creature that he does not know what it is anymore. It's gone way out of hand, and he still blames himself for that. First of all, bringing back the old master because he thought, okay, maybe he can change. A lot of people can change. Johnny changed at one point. You know, he's still arrogant, he's still a jerk sometimes, but that's just normalcy. That's just normal for him. He's not going out there telling the kids, "Oh, go beat up them, go beat up," go to their house and smash their faces. And no, he's telling them, "Hey." At first, he told them, "Hey, listen, you want to win? Don't let anybody push you on. You push back and push back hard." Yeah, he learns from his mistake. Then he changed it. Then his old master comes back, whispers in his ear, and tells him, "No, no, 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 no. Your way's not working. If you want to show power and fear, you got to do it the right way, the Cobra Kai way." And then, of course, Johnny was like, "Nah, I ain't having that." He leaves, and then chaos now happens, and now here we are. Literally Civil War 3, as I call it, because honestly, this is crazy. Actually in Marvel, there is a Civil War 2 comic where I think there are 3 teams, if I remember correctly. I don't remember. So it kind of feels like that. So you have 3 different teams. You have Johnny versus Danny, and versus their own, Johnny's old master. It's gonna get crazy. You have Sam, who can't stand. Sam and Tori cannot stand each other. Danny, does not like Ronnie, so there's that. Hawk apparently has switched sides at the end of it. I forgot to mention that. He switches sides to Miguel's side because they're friends. So he realizes, like, whoa, Cobra Kai is taking it way too personally. And then, of course, and I totally forgot about that. Should have mentioned this in the first season. But there was a bully, this kid that was Sam's original boyfriend. He was the big bully at the school. He's now a part of Cobra Kai, so how is that going to affect everything? So that's crazy. He used to make fun of Hulk all the time, literally pick on him all the time. And now he's a part of Cobra Kai. So that's just crazy. This show is nuts. Awesome. Great storytelling, great action scenes. I think the choreography is actually really well done. I mean, I don't know how much choreography it actually is. I'm not really too sure. But if it actually is, those kids actually are fighting, that's awesome. But if they're doing Power Ranger stuff where, Power Rangers is not real, where they copy and paste what the Japanese actors did in the old, their world, and slap it into the American style, that's how it is today. Sorry if I just ruined Power Rangers for you, but still, that's how it is. If that's what they're doing, cool. It still works. It still looks great. I still like the action. But if those kids are actually learning how to fight like that, that's awesome too. So I appreciate that. You want to have good fight scenes, especially for a show that's called Karate Kid. But yeah, Karate Kid's amazing. I really enjoy this show. When I first saw this, when I got into when season 2 just ended, I binge watched both seasons back to back, and I just finished the 3rd season in one day, so that was great. Excuse me. And I can't wait for 4. I just want to know what's going to happen. And no, at the end of season 3, Danny and Johnny are now a team, and they're gonna teach their kids to the right way how to be karate experts. So that's gonna be great, so they can get ready for the tournament. Hopefully we get to see the tournament in the 4th season, because we only got one tournament, that was only in the 1st season. But I'm excited. So leave a comment below, let me know what you guys thought about season 3 of Cobra Kai. Are you guys caught up? Did you guys ever watched it? Leave a comment below, let me know what you guys thought. What's your favorite season out of all 3 so far, if you have one? If you can't pick it, I understand, because for me it's actually kind of hard. But I might go 1, 3, 2. I'm not sure yet. I gotta rewatch it again. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. So leave a comment below. Let me know. Thank you very much, and have a good day.